Hey everybody, welcome to the 5th edition of the Telescope Hangout. As you'll probably hear, it's quite noisy over here. There's some construction and hammering going on, so I wasn't quite sure if I should do this today. But let's give it a try, and if it gets too loud, I'll just record it again later. So yeah, I just wanted to go over like the new features in Telescope really quickly, maybe answer a few questions, and then just hear from you guys what you've been up to and what's new in the Telescope community. So let me share my screen real quick. So this is what's new in the latest version, which I've called Avatar Scope, and this is because it introduces avatars right on the homepage and on the post item. So this is Telescope Meta. Another site that was just updated is Crater. So as you can see, like the avatars make the site a lot more lively, I think, and also kind of make you want to contribute to each thread a little more. So the avatars use the avatar package, which is developed mainly by Ben, who is here in the Hangout. Maybe we can talk about that later. So yeah, one pretty big change, which may not be apparent, is I rethought the module system. So before each, if I can inspect the code here, each of the modules here in the posts was kind of independent module that you could plug in. And my idea was that if later on somebody else writes a module for something completely different, for example, we have the avatars module, you could have the share module. Well, I thought it would be neat to have a kind of a plug-and-play system where you can just import it and it will pop in right there in the layout. And that's how it was before, but then I realized that, especially on mobile, it's not just very realistic to add a model with no work. Just for space constraints reason, it will always mess up with your layout. So even though we kind of have this module system here with the mobile version, I thought it didn't really work as a plug-and-play thing. So I decided to really simplify it, and now it's a little bit more like hooks elsewhere in Telescope, where you just add an item, but the layout doesn't expect to be modular, and the layout is not expected to adapt to like any kind of content, which is why I got rid of I had 3 zones for modules to kind of manage them. I got rid of that. There's just 1 zone now, and the markup is a lot more simpler, and the code as well. So sorry if that messes up with your template customizations, but I think this is going to be a lot better moving on. So yeah, that was one thing. What else is new? I've added a new user-created callback hook. So you can now add callbacks to the user creation process. And for example, I'm using this to give you an option to automatically subscribe new users to your mailing list. So if we go in the admin screen here, where is it? Newsletter. Yeah, auto-subscribe. So it's a very simple, it's 1 line of code that just hooks into the user creation. And if we go into the code, it's right here, server users, here, callbacks. So yeah, you can use that for all kinds of things. Like whenever you want to do something when somebody signs up, typically that's where you would put it. As I said, there were a lot of template and theme tweaks to the. So the post module thing, the default theme. You'll also notice that the mobile version is a lot better now for threads. So here we have a very deep thread, and it's still somewhat readable even at small sizes. Although these guys are kind of pushing it a bit. I still need to figure out like how to deal with that, because the problem, as you can see, is like each comment in the thread gets nudged like 10 pixels, and when you have like 50 comments, it's like 500 pixels, so it becomes unmanageable. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll probably just put a limit so you can only reply, or maybe Reddit, like they hide the comments after maybe 10 comments deep or something. So we might do that as well. So you might notice here on the right we have lots of errors, and those are because gravatars are not being found. So they're not they're not serious or anything, but they are a little bit annoying. So I don't know, Ben. I know you have a thread about that on the Meteor avatar repo. I don't know if you can talk about that, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the way that the initials functionality works on the avatar package was done by a guy named Stefan Stritz, and so that was the way he had implemented it originally, and I didn't really change it any more than I had to. But yeah, now at the time I was thinking it wouldn't be in place very long, and it was just kind of a stopgap measure on the way to implementing a couple of other things that I've been wanting to do for a long time, namely the file uploads and the user-defined selection of which avatar they want to use from which linked service. So, and then once that's done, all this stuff is going to be scrapped anyway. So all those 404s will go away. But you can check out the issues and the comments on some of those issues on the Meteor Avatar package GitHub repo if you want to know more about that.
Cool. Cool. Well, I mean, even with the errors, I mean, the avatar package is still a really cool feature. Like, it's yeah, that's why I named the release after it, because I think it's.
I didn't even do the. You did the part with the tiny avatars, though.
Yeah, because it was, the bulk of the work was just CSS stuff and layout and figuring out where things went. Actually, implementing the avatars was just one line of code, like.
Yeah,
it's really convenient.
That's good.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on. That's about it. Oh, another cool thing is if we go back here, you'll notice here menu items now have descriptions, and for one, it's a little bit more user friendly. It tells people what's where. But the other reason I did that was for SEO reasons. So you can add the description to categories, and it will show up here and also show up in the meta tags and the open graph tags, so that when somebody links to this page on Facebook, or if Google crawls it or whatever, the description can be used for each category page. So while I was doing this, I also added some hooks for, or rather some helpers on the controller level in the router for titles and descriptions for each page. So now there's a bit of a better system site-wide for this kind of thing. And that's coming very soon, like in the SEO package, which there's an open pull request for it on the repo, but we're still working out the details. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be, yeah, that's going to introduce sitemaps as well and other cool features. So that's about it for this week's new stuff. We have a few questions from Mario. So Mario, why don't you ask them directly since you're here?
Okay, so I have 3 questions regarding the meter deploy. Because currently I am working on a large-sized meter application, and our server is crashing, mainly running with Nginx and Passenger. And I found something. If I try to do a denial of service attack to my server directly on node, it won't crash. But after the attack, the CPU gets halted for like 40 minutes. This is really strange, but I was running against the most expensive computation that we have. But if I run this attack against Passenger, it will crash. And I'd like to know, what kind of deploy do we have, what issues, and how many servers?
Okay, so I have to confess that I'm only using a Meteor app to deploy my Meteor apps. Like, I haven't done even any like load balancing or scaling, so I don't really know how to answer that. But maybe Ben or Joshua would have some feedback. No.
Nope, not I.
I actually found an article a while ago with some different ways to deploy Meteor, how to set up your servers. I can find that and share it. So,
yeah, sure. I also know, yeah, there's also someone else writing an article about that right now, Maxim, I think. I'll link it up in the comments as well. So yeah, sorry, Mario. I mean, yeah, it's still kind of uncharted waters, I think, this whole deployment thing, and I mean that's why we're all looking forward to Galaxy, I think, because yeah, right now there's no like one true way to do that. It's kind of to each his own, like still. So
I was also expecting, what's the name of the creator of Crater.io?
yeah, Crater.
Yeah. Oh, you are the creator?
Oh, the creator of Crater. Sorry. Oh no, it's Josh Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe it was last week or I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I posted the question about validating the origin of the DDP connection, and yeah. I also found that Crater has the same issue. So if you run a script that makes 200 connections from the same client, so you don't need like a botnet, Crater will crash.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue.
And I believe that it's also using Nginx and Passenger, because I saw an Nginx message. So yeah, that's the same problem I have.
Did you actually try it on Crater? Did you crash it?
Yes.
Okay,
But the website was offered for 2 minutes, but I believe that if you use the forever run command, it will bring it back. So it wasn't a real issue. But I noticed that with a single connection that subscribes to all the posts, because there is this exploit on Crater. So if you change your URL to, I don't know, 1000, it will download everything. If you try on the browser, it will crash simply. If you try on Phantom, you will restart the computer, because I tried with Phantom and it went up to 4 gigabytes, and I tried to stop, but my machine was dead by then. But I found that the most effective way to attack a Meteor site is by simply connecting through DDP. And if you get the data and then you unsubscribe and you subscribe again and again, you will consume a lot of bandwidth and CPU. And I noticed that Crater.io was slower. So there is a problem when you expose the PDP connection to the outside.
Yeah, first of all, Telescope should limit. I mean, that's a problem in the code. Like, there should be a limit for how many posts you can ask for. That's true. And beyond that, I mean, yeah, it's tricky. It would be great if Meteor would deal with that like on the framework level, because I think you can't really expect every new user to be aware of these issues, especially since you wouldn't have these issues like on the not in the same way like in a normal web app, in a non-Meteor web app. So yeah, I really hope that this becomes built in the framework. Until then, yeah, I don't know. We should have Josh on next time, and then you can debate that with him. Like maybe we can tell him that you crashed his site and see what he says. Yeah, there's no good answer, I'm afraid, right now.
I believe that Arnaud is working on some kind of Meteor firewall.
Yeah.
But, he told me this, but I haven't seen any Git repo, so it might be true or not.
Yeah. Also, like just me personally, I've been focusing on really different things. Like I've been focusing a lot more on the UI and on the. I guess what I've been focusing on most is the architecture of the app. You know, on the conceptual level more. So there's whole areas of Meteor that I'm just not familiar with yet. So yeah, it's really hard to cover all the bases yourself. Well, is that? Do you have any other questions?
I think not.
Okay, cool.
Because currently I am focused on the performance and the deploy, and pretty much I am discovering everything myself. And I was hoping that someone had the experience with the deploy, because I'm going to have a terrible week ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean the guy to ask about that is really Arunoda. I think he's probably the outside of the core team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's kind of busy. I also bought this book, Bulletproof Meteor, and he's going to release day 20. So he has Kadira, so I believe that he has a lot of a lot of things to do, instead of responding to emails.
Or maybe just write a blog post about that. Like you can write a blog post exposing your fears or questions about Meteor, and then people will, if you're wrong about it, people will let you know, right? That's the way it works.
I tried Stack Overflow.
Yeah, Stack Overflow is good too, I guess.
Yeah, that might be a good way to draw attention to it, like Sasha said. And then if you do gain some traction, you can tweet to Arunoda or tweet to Josh Owens or whoever, So.
Yeah, I mean, like people say, the easiest way to get answers to a question is to say something wrong, to give a wrong answer yourself, and then people will be very happy to correct you. So.
Okay, so I just have to twist people around, right? If you know it. Okay, that might work.
Cool. So I think that about wraps it up for this week. Joshua, I know you're working or at least thinking about the stats package. I think that's going to be pretty cool. But maybe we can talk about that when it's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry again for the noise, and see you guys next week.
See ya.